Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, Victoria police search for a dangerous suspect wanted for murder. Plus, a boil water notice disrupts daily life for one Crossroads city. And federal agents intercept a massive shipment in Houston headed to the Mexican drug cartels.
We'll be looking at the Pacific coast for the next couple of days as Lorena is going to be making that turn. It's going to be going over the Sonoran Desert and giving us a chance for rain beginning this weekend. We'll have all that coming up in a moment.
Plus, Texas cracks down on solar panel companies accused of deceiving homeowners. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Shauna Curry. A warrant has been issued for a murder suspect in connection to a weekend shooting on Lone Tree Road. Victoria police say 31-year-old Charles Lee Brazil is wanted in connection to the death of Tyler Gomez. Anyone with information on Brazil's whereabouts should contact Victoria Crime Stoppers at 361-572-4200. That hotline is available 24 hours a day and callers can remain anonymous. The Texas Department of Criminal Justice is looking for a parolee who once lived in Victoria. A warrant is out for Lamar Deshawn Sterling after officials say he failed to follow the terms of his supervision. Sterling had been released after serving time on a conviction. If you know where he is, call 1-866-680-6667. Bond is set at $1 million for the man accused of shooting and killing an 11-year-old boy in East Houston Saturday night. Authorities say Julian Guzman was playing ding-dong ditch with his cousin when he was shot in the back by 42-year-old Gonzalo Leon Jr. Guzman later died at the hospital. The judge set a high bond because more serious charges, including capital murder, could be added. If convicted on the current murder charge, Leon faces 5 to 99 years in prison. A capital murder conviction could mean life behind bars. The city of Yoakum is under a boil water notice. This was issued last night after the water system pressure dropped below 20 pounds per square inch after a water main break. Residents are instructed to boil their water for 2 minutes before drinking or using to cook, as well as brushing your teeth, washing hands, and also can serve as much as possible. As a result, classes were canceled today for all Yoakum public schools. Students are encouraged to bring bottled water to school tomorrow. City utility officials are planning to return to normal operations in 24 hours, but they are waiting on mandatory testing of the water to be complete. A $1,000 reward is being offered for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of whoever scattered screws and nails along Lane Road in Calhoun County this morning. The debris stretched from Highway 185 to Charlie's Bait Camp. Precinct 4 crews used magnets and equipment to pick up as much as they could. Anyone with information should contact the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office. Well, there was an empty seat at the Calhoun County Commissioner's Court this morning, a tribute to Precinct 1 Commissioner David Hall, who passed away Tuesday in his sleep. Hall took office in 2017 after retiring as a deputy with the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office. In his 26 years in Calhoun County, he poured his energy into projects that made a difference, from centralized dispatch to fighting beach erosion to improving local playgrounds. An autopsy has been ordered in his death.
It leaves a big void, a big hole in our county and in the Coastal Bend area and the state, because he was known throughout the state for the many grants that he got for our county.
This has been a tough one. David was one of the best men I know. I've known him for probably over 20 years. When he was on the Sheriff's Department, and after becoming commissioner and sitting next to him on this court, I got really close with him.
Commissioner Hall was 54 years old. He leaves behind a wife and children. Well, we are keeping an eye on a pretty big storm actually in the Pacific, not the Atlantic, that's bringing a lot of rain and flooding to areas of that coast, but could impact our weather. Let's go to Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez for an explanation of this. And Mac, what are we watching for? What are we expecting?
Well, we have a tropical storm on the Pacific coast that you're saying, how is that going to get here? Well, it does happen. I've seen it happen several times where the storm falls apart in the mountains of western Mexico, but then all that moisture starts streaming over Texas. Well, by the time we get to Sunday, all of that moisture will start bringing rain to West Texas, Central Texas, and then a little frontal system will push it down into our area. So we've got some slow-moving thunderstorms that will be here probably as early as Sunday, giving us some significant rainfall. Now, obviously, if we get to 2-3 inches, we may have a little bit of flooding. So we already have the alert flags up for you to consider what's going to be happening outdoors on Sunday and Monday of the coming weekend. We'll take a much closer look at it and talk about that storm. It's called Lorena, coming up in just a few minutes. Shauna, back to you.
Vice President J.D. Vance and Second Lady Usha Vance are in Minneapolis today, paying respects to the victims of the mass shooting at the church at Annunciation Catholic School. 2 children were killed and 21 others injured. Most of those injured also children. ABC's Rena Roy has more on their visit, coming exactly 1 week since the shooting.
Vice President J.D. Vance and Second Lady Usha Vance touching down in Minneapolis today, a week after the deadly shooting inside the church at Annunciation Catholic School. The couple leaving flowers at a memorial for the victims, observing a moment of silence together, and meeting privately with families who were affected by this tragedy. The visit comes as we see newly released surveillance video obtained by ABC affiliate KSTP. The suspect shown handling a wide variety of firearms at a gun shop just 5 days before the shooting, though the store owner says no weapons from his shop were used in the attack. 8-year-old Fletcher Merkel and 10-year-old Harper Moisky were killed and 21 others were injured, including 11-year-old Genevieve Bissek, who suffered a gunshot wound to the neck.
You know, she went through a lot, but she's looking more and more like herself every day.
The family of 10-year-old Weston Halsney says a bullet fragment was found in his neck.
My friend Victor saved me though, because he laid on top of me, but he got hit. He is really brave.
Over the weekend, Mass resumed at Annunciation Catholic Church. The service held in the auditorium, the sanctuary closed.
I've never, in all my years, experienced such an outpouring of love and light and hope.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz says he plans to call a special legislative session to consider tougher gun laws in the state, which could include a proposal to ban assault weapons. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Federal officials seized more than 300,000 kilos of meth precursor chemicals in a record-breaking drug bust. Officials intercepted the shipment from China at the port of Houston and say it was bound for labs under the control of Mexico's Sinaloa drug cartel. Homeland Security agents reportedly confiscated 6 shipping containers of industrial solvents that drug makers can easily convert into meth. Officials say the amount could have produced nearly 190,000 kilos of meth with an estimated street value of $569 million. A new Texas law is cracking down on misleading solar panel sales. Residential solar companies cannot make false claims about cost or performance, and every contract must give homeowners 5 business days to cancel. The law that went into effect on Monday also bans companies from pretending they're tied to utilities or government agencies, and they cannot knock on doors with no soliciting signs. The Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation will now oversee solar sales, giving homeowners more protection from deceptive tactics. So for a viewer poll this evening, we're asking if you or someone you know has ever been misled by a solar company. And 65% of you say no, you have not. That's definitely good. But 35% say that you have been misled by a solar company. We want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to let us know. We'll have another look at the numbers on 25 News Now at 6. Here are some of the top headlines in the Port Lavaca wave. Calhoun County commissioners partner with Seadrift for infrastructure repair, and the Port Lavaca City Council looks toward the future, talking about the city's 2026 comprehensive plan. To read these stories and more, visit portlavacawave.com. And remember to subscribe to our Crossroads Today YouTube channel, hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. Chaos inside the health department as employees turn against leadership. Plus, experts reveal the warning signs of an addiction that is often invisible to families. President Trump calls the Jeffrey Epstein saga a Democratic hoax, but a bipartisan approach fueled a news conference today at the Capitol where Epstein survivors are calling for the full release of the Epstein files. ABC's Perry Russum reports.
In the shadow of the Capitol, about a dozen women who say they were abused by Jeffrey Epstein, demanding the full release of the Epstein files.
The days of sweeping this under the rug are over. We, the survivors, say no more.
The news conference led by Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna.
Today we stand with survivors.
And Republican Congressman Thomas Massie.
I hope my colleagues are watching this press conference. I want them to think, what if this was your sister? What if this was your daughter?
Massie filing a petition to force a vote on the House floor to release all the files. House Speaker Mike Johnson blocking that while still saying he wants the files released.
I talked to the president himself last night about this. He said, get it out there, put it all out there.
As survivors spoke on Capitol Hill, President Trump in front of cameras in the Oval Office.
It's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant.
Haley Robson is an Epstein survivor. She says her story and trauma is real.
I would like Donald J. Trump and every person in America and around the world to humanize us, to see us for who we are and to hear us for what we have to say. There is no hoax.
A strong focus today also on Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's convicted co-conspirator. Survivors outraged that she was transferred to a prison camp after speaking with the DOJ. One survivor calling it a prison spa. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
More than 1,000 current and former Health and Human Services employees are calling on Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to resign. In a letter to Kennedy and Congress, they say his leadership is putting Americans' health at risk. This comes after the Trump administration ousted CDC Director Dr. Susan Minares, who reportedly refused pressure to sign off on new vaccine restrictions. Several other senior officials have since stepped down. Kennedy is set to testify before the Senate Finance Committee on Thursday on the president's 2026 health care agenda. The Texas Senate on Tuesday evening tentatively approved a bill that would allow private citizens to sue anyone who manufactures, distributes, mails, or provides abortion medication to or from Texas. To read this full Texas Tribune article, visit crossroadstoday.com. Well, when you gotta go, you gotta go. But maybe don't stay too long. A new study finds that sitting on the toilet scrolling your phone can raise your risk of hemorrhoids. Researchers say people are spending more time in the bathroom than they realize, trading magazines for smartphones, and it's leading to more cases. So the takeaway, put the phone down and don't linger. Well, sports betting is bigger than ever, and while it can be fun, experts warn it can also become a serious problem. The National Council on Problem Gambling says about 2.5 million U.S. adults struggle with severe gambling issues every year, with millions more facing mild to moderate problems. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither shows the warning signs of gambling addiction and where to get help.
It's an addiction that often isn't as obvious as others, but severe gambling problems can have a significant impact on a person's life.
This is something that, an individual could potentially, keep to themselves.
The National Council on Problem Gambling defines it as gambling behavior that's damaging to a person or their family, often disrupting their daily life and career. The organization says warning signs include thinking about gambling all the time, feeling the need to bet more money more often, trying to win money back, feeling restless or irritable when you try to stop or cut back, feeling like you can't control yourself, and gambling despite negative consequences. In extreme cases, it can also cause bankruptcy, legal problems, the loss of your job or family, and suicidal thoughts.
And the right mindset comes down to knowing the odds, understanding the game, and most importantly, keeping it social.
Devices make sports betting easier than ever, so the American Gaming Association says to think before you gamble and monitor your behavior. If you choose to place a bet, make sure you're doing it on a legal site with responsible gaming protections.
If you're someone that's concerned about a loved one involved in this activity, trying to keep an eye on their habits and what he or she might be demonstrating in some moments when you're watching the game. If somebody is sort of displaying those levels of anxiety around an important moment in the game, it might be an opportunity to just ask that person, give that person the space to communicate.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
If you or a loved one struggles with gambling, there is help. Call 1-800-GAMBLER for the National Problem Gambling Hotline. You can also find resources on the organization's website, including a gambling behavior self-assessment. That's at ncpgambling.org. Well, if you are one that likes to roll the dice, you do still have a few hours to buy a ticket before tonight's Powerball drawing. It's worth $1.4 billion. The jackpot ranks as the 4th largest in Powerball history and the 6th largest among U.S. lottery games altogether. The odds of winning tonight are 1 in 292 million. Powerball tickets cost $2 a piece. The Powerball jackpot has been rolling over ever since the last winner in late May. Here are some of the top headlines in the Cuero Record. A young pup that was either neglected, mistreated, or just plain trying to survive on its own is now on the road to recovery. And DeWitt County 4-H hosts an awards banquet. To read these stories and more, visit DeWittCountyToday.com.
We are about to get a couple of little showers rolling through the area. You can see the clouds beginning to thicken up. I mean, it was wall-to-wall sunshine all day long until about now. This is, of course, caused by heating. It'll last for, maybe 20, 30 minutes, and that's about it. It's still 97 degrees. I know that we hit 100 this afternoon. Right now it's coming in at 98, but I know we hit 100, so it was a hot one. Now tomorrow, still on the hot side. It's not till Sunday when things start getting very interesting. We'll have all that forecast for you coming up after this. Well, ahead of all the activity that we expect this weekend, we're getting some really hot temperatures. Today with that sunshine, it really got up there. But now we've got a little shower activity that's just about to roll in the city. Of course, what we're talking about on the west coast is this. This is tropical storm, actually Hurricane Lorena. We'll have more details on Lorena. But for the time being, let's look at this. We're just about to pick up this little rain shower coming right through the city. It's coming from Cuero, coming down the road. There it is. So imagine that in the next 10, 15 minutes in Victoria, you're going to be seeing a little rainfall out there. This is not going to last very long. Nonetheless, you may have to dodge a shower or two. It got hot today, and tomorrow is still hot. Look at that. These are the forecast highs for tomorrow. 100 for us, 100 in Cuero, 104 in Cuero, 105 in Karnes City. This is that sinking air that we have now at high pressure, but all that is going to be changing when that storm starts moving across. In the Atlantic, we have this system here that has a very good possibility of becoming a tropical storm, 70% chance that this will become Gabrielle. Yesterday, the cone was taking it a little bit farther north. Today, it's basically going very close to the Caribbean islands, so they're going to have to watch that. But once it gets to about the Bahamas, it is going to be turning and moving away from us. Now, here's, of course, all the big story. We got all kinds of stuff. I mean, this is really busy. Look at this. We've got Kiko here, which is a major hurricane, got up to Category 4, but fortunately it's moving away. However, what do you see here? Honolulu may have to deal with that. We've got Hurricane Lorena, and already it's bringing some torrential rains to Baja California, to Cabo San Lucas. I don't know if you've ever been there. It's right here at the tip of the peninsula. This is very arid country. It's very dry, you know. So heavy rain over dusty roads causes all kinds of flooding, which they're getting right about now. But the storm itself, as a Category 1, should be coming ashore somewhere to the north of Cabo, right about here. And then it goes into the desert southwest, believe it or not. This is going to be bringing rain to the Sonora Desert, to southern Arizona. Tucson may get 2 inches of rain. Southern New Mexico and West Texas. Big rain, probably best they've seen in a while. And here's Future Tracker. Okay, we start off on Thursday. You can see the storm come ashore. You can see the heaviest rain right here in, of course, the desert. And then it sort of skirts over the Gadsden Purchase and then goes over El Paso. Now watch here. Then it starts coming down and it starts getting into our region. So this is all the way to Monday. Okay, so our, shall we say, this forecast we're pretty solid on that this is what's going to happen in terms of the next few days. So tomorrow, you know, still on the hot side. It's not till about Sunday that we really start getting rain. And the biggest concern is that because we had recent rain, the ground's fairly saturated, so it's going to cause a little bit of flooding. I think we're going to see it by Monday. There is a frontal system also associated with it. Now tomorrow, yes, 98 degrees in Port Lavaca, really hot. In Cuero, 101, really hot. Let's go see what happens the next 5 days. Well, we're hot. Then Saturday is when the clouds start rolling in, and we will know on Friday where the rain is located, okay? We will know that by then. And then I believe that it'll be raining most of the day on Sunday and most of the day on Monday. And here's that little front that's going to come in, drop the temperature just a couple degrees, but the front is really the main difference between the two air masses, and that's why we're expecting significant rainfall. 2 to 3 inches could cause a problem if we get it all in one place at one time. Thursday it begins to move out, and I believe by Wednesday we should be actually out of it. So yes, very interesting that we're getting a Pacific storm across the deserts, over the mountains, through the sand, past El Paso, and all the way down into our area for next week. Please remind everybody we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that with your phone so we can give you all the bulletins that we may have necessary regarding Lorena coming in from the west. We'll toss it back to Shauna.
Still to come, experts warn about a dangerous debt trap that's catching more and more Americans. Stock markets head into the middle of the week after kicking off September trading with a slide. Traders may have been spooked by a federal court ruling that most of President Trump's tariffs are illegal. Taking a look, the Dow went down 25 points today. The S&P 500 was up 33 points at closing. The Nasdaq was up 218 points, and oil is down $1.70 to $63.89 per barrel. Well, there's some bad news if you're looking for work. New data released today suggests the labor market is slowing down more than economists' expectations. At the end of July, the number of available jobs across the U.S. fell to an estimated 7.18 million. That's down about 180,000 positions from June, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics survey. A FactSet analysis finds economists were forecasting only a slight dip in available jobs from June to July. The number of open jobs nationwide are now at the lowest level since September of last year. Debt collection calls are on the rise in the U.S., jumping 150% per person, according to the Federal Trade Commission. The increase is causing stress for people already juggling high-interest debt. Experts say the surge includes both legitimate calls and scams targeting vulnerable consumers. Credit counseling services are helping more clients negotiate lower interest rates, but financial experts warn that relying on credit cards between paychecks can trap people in debt for years. A popular program that let Amazon Prime members share free shipping benefits with people outside their household is going away. The company says it is shutting down the Prime Invitee program on October 1st. Going forward, those perks will only be available through Amazon Family, which allows sharing with one other adult plus kids and teens, but that's only if they all share the same address. Anyone else will have to buy their own membership. The company insists membership remains strong, citing record global signups during and leading up to its annual Prime Day sale. Well, an all-star lineup of music legends will be taking the stage in Minneapolis this fall. Coming up, we'll find out who will headline Farm Aid.
Epstein's victims. Survivors speak out demanding files be released. Plus, the deadly U.S. military strike on a boat in the Caribbean. Questions now about the attack. World News Tonight with David Muir is the most watched newscast in America.
Willie Nelson, Neil Young, and John Mellencamp are set to headline this year's Farm Aid Music and Food Festival. Fellow board members Dave Matthews and Margot Price will join them, along with Winona Judd and Kenny Chesney. For the first time ever, the nonprofit agricultural organization's 40th annual festival will be held in Minneapolis. That will be on September 20th. Farm Aid has raised more than $85 million since 1985 to support programs for farmers and expand the reach of the good food movement. So pretty good lineup.
I'm glad to know that Willie's still up there, you know. I mean,
Yes.
he's getting a little old, but he's still pushing it. I think I went to Farm Aid #1.
Really?
40 years ago.
I went to one of the 4th of July picnics, but
yes, well, that's the one
not Farm Aid.
up in the Austin area, you know, back when it was but now it's in the Midwest. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy for them that they're keeping all that alive. Well, folks, we've got an interesting development today, rather tomorrow. It's going to be extremely hot, up to 100 degrees. Then the rain comes in beginning on Sunday from the West Coast.
All right. Thanks for joining us.